Now at 10, a Southwest Missouri man is charged for a crash that killed a woman. Plus, how the Joplin Police Department is helping an area organization prepare for any unexpected disaster. And we'll hear from a Joplin store about a rush of Chiefs fans buying up merchandise ahead of the team's appearance in the Super Bowl.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
A Carthage man faces charges in a crash that resulted in the death of a woman. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Court records say 22-year-old Alan Jones is charged with first-degree manslaughter, second-degree assault, and tampering with physical evidence. Authorities say on December 3rd, Jones was driving north on Glenstone in Springfield and changed lanes multiple times. They say he then hit another car while turning east onto I-44 from the southbound lanes of Glenstone. Authorities say Jones was driving 98 miles an hour before the crash. The other car was driven by Rita Deckard of Marshfield, Missouri. She died in that crash. A Riverton, Kansas woman is sentenced for operating a meth lab in the home she shared with children. Shayna Cowgill Wittenmeyer gets 8 years in prison after pleading guilty to possession of meth with intent to distribute and aggravated child endangerment. The charges stem from an August 2018 raid conducted by the Cherokee County Sheriff's investigators on Cowgill Wittenmeyer's residence. Officers say they found a meth lab and children during that search. The Pittsburgh Police Department launches new technology that allows the community to text 911 rather than just call. The new texting system allows operators to equally fast responses to text or calls. The police department says the system can improve communication with people who have disabilities and victims who do not have the ability to verbally call for help. There are some limitations to the service.
The only situations that we cannot accept through text 911 are photos, videos, or emojis. So it's just going to be text communication only. And we would ask that at the top in the to line, just put 911.
Dispatch has already received requests for help through texting since upgrading that system. The Joplin Police Department provided some useful skills to prepare for the unexpected. The department visited the Ozark Center to train employees on how to handle any potential violent threats. The training included scenarios ranging from active shooters and angry intruders to bomb threats.
There are things that you can do to make yourself feel more comfortable at work and more secure at work. And the more secure you feel at work, the more comfortable people who come to work to be cared for, the more they feel that as well. So as your capacity to feel comfortable and safe increases, that allows you more bandwidth to make sure that the people who come to you for care also feel that same way.
More than 100 Ozark employees participated in the training. One of the largest motels in Carthage has been shut down by city inspectors due to what they call life safety issues. They say they discovered problems at Quality Inn and Suites. Those problems include sheetrock that had fallen from the ceiling in the room with the swimming pool, mold, and broken insulation near the fire suppression system.
And we went through and checked a lot of the rooms, a lot of the areas, everything we could think of that we do during inspections, and we found that it was in everyone's best interest to just shut it down and let anyone sleep in there overnight.
The motel's owners have begun the process of finding someone to make repairs. It's a cold night out there. Chief Meteorologist Doug Eddy.
Yeah, it is. Temperatures are sitting right around 20 degrees across the region, and we're going to drop back into the mid-teens as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We did have another little bout of sleet and snow that rolled through the region, especially along and south of I-44 earlier today. We're fine now, but we still have this ongoing ice storm down to our south, Arkansas and parts of Texas. Look at our temps: 19 Neosho, 18 Iola, 21 in Welch. We have Nevada sitting at 19 degrees, so it is cold. Little bit of a wind chill makes it feel lower teens to mid-teens across the region. As we go through the night, we're going to stay dry. Temperatures mid-teens. We do rebound quickly back to 25 by 10 a.m. We're going to look at warmer temperatures rolling in, all coming up in a bit.
See you soon. As we prepare for the Super Bowl in less than 2 weeks, whole lot of area fans are stocking up on Chiefs swag to show their support for the newly crowned AFC champs. But how are the stores handling the demand? KOAM Shagun Bamadelli visited Academy Sports in Joplin to find out.
With the Super Bowl approaching, fans are gearing up to collect some of the latest memorabilia and jerseys. But with the Super Bowl comes more demands for stores.
Probably one of the biggest challenges is keeping everything in stock. We have a lot of Chiefs fans in the area. They all want the gear, and it's really up to us to make sure that they have access to the gear, and pretty much that's just keeping it in stock, having it available.
Campbell walks me through how the stores get jerseys ahead of time if the team wins.
So we'll get our championship gear from the vendor a couple days before the game, and we'll keep them in the back sealed up. And in the event of a victory, what we do is we unpack it, get it all ready to go, close down the store, have it all out in the front, and then reopen so that the fans can get the gear just as the players are putting it on the field.
Customers says the love for their team keeps them coming back for more merchandise.
Whenever I come in, they do have them, and they're well in stock, and what I have on now is the only jersey I'll wear. Management's great, so they always have, as you can see, they've got all this gear back here for anybody, so it's going to be available.
It's just awesome to see. I'll say it's just, especially when you go to different states. So I got family that live in California, and there's a few places, but there's some places that have a lot of Chiefs stuff, and it's just awesome to see the Chiefs being represented in different states.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bamadelli, KOAM News.
Now, if the Chiefs lose, the store says then they would not reopen their doors that night for merch. Pitt State education students got a chance to pick the brains of some of the best educators in the state. The PSU Department of Teaching and Leadership hosted the Kansas Teacher of the Year team. That team is made up of all the regional Teacher of the Year award winners. Students were able to speak with the team to learn about new ideas and practices for educating kids.
We have some introductory education courses, students who are beginning in their journeys on becoming teachers. And so they're going to be speaking with those classes, and it's going to be a lot of interactive dialogue and just a time for these emerging teachers to become better acquainted with these veteran teachers who represent excellence in education.
The Teacher of the Year team conducts workshops and visits other educators throughout the year. The Joplin Public Library announced their 2023 book for their Joplin Reads Together program. Participants will read Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. It's a story that traces a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. To find out more about the library's newest reading initiative, go to KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, we're going to look at preparations for the funeral tomorrow of Tyree Nichols. And President Biden looks to lift the COVID-19 health emergencies, what this could mean for you. Preparations are underway in Memphis, Tennessee for tomorrow's funeral of Tyree Nichols. The Reverend presiding over that service hopes to see renewed action on police reform going forward. Reporter Christian Benavides has the latest.
Thousands are expected at the Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church in Memphis on Wednesday for the funeral of Tyree Nichols.
What did I do?
The Reverend J. Lawrence will preside over the service, and the Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver the eulogy. Lawrence tells CBS News he will focus on the 29-year-old's life and not his death.
We also want to make it a place for this family to find comfort and see the support and solidarity of this community that's coming around them.
The White House announced Vice President Kamala Harris will be in attendance.
This is about accountability.
On Capitol Hill, Democrats are trying to convince Republicans to help them pass the George Floyd police reform bill, which stalled in Congress last year.
We believe in protecting our communities, giving them the resources to succeed, as well as the accountability.
Lawrence hopes Nichols' death reignites the push for police reform.
I think this is going to be one of the defining moments of the contemporary civil rights movement, that his death will not be in vain.
Tuesday night, his family spoke at the Mason Temple Church, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his last speech.
Keep fighting for justice for our son and my family.
5 former police officers are facing second-degree murder charges. The Shelby County District Attorney is considering filing charges against at least 7 others. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Along with Vice President Harris, others expected to attend tomorrow's funeral include the mother of Breonna Taylor and the brother of George Floyd. Meanwhile, the city of Memphis says it's going to release more footage from the night Nichols was beaten in the next few weeks after it completes its administrative investigation. President Biden plans to lift the COVID-19 national and public health emergencies this spring, and that'll mean the end of certain benefits tied to the pandemic. Americans will have to start paying out of their pocket or use their health care coverage for COVID-19 testing and treatment and vaccines. It'll all depend on a person's health care coverage and whether that is Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. The White House says the end of the emergency declarations will be May 11th. Black taxpayers are much more likely to be audited by the IRS than other taxpayers. That's according to a study by leading economists. The findings document discrimination in computer algorithms the agency uses to determine who to audit. Some of the discrimination appears to be tied to decisions IRS officials made over the last decade to rely on automated systems in the face of budget cuts. Dallas police are asking for the public's help in identifying a man they want to speak with about the disappearance of two rare emperor tamarin monkeys from the Dallas Zoo. Police say the two monkeys have since been found in an abandoned home's closet in a suburb south of Dallas. Not the first incident at the zoo this month. On January 21st, an endangered vulture was found dead, and about 2 weeks earlier, a clouded leopard disappeared. The leopard was eventually found safe, but authorities say a suspicious tear was found in her enclosure. A little bit later, the Webb City girls basketball team squares off against the Carthage Tigers. Highlights in sports.
Plus, it's going to be a cold night, but we finally start to warm things back up. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, we've been sitting in the Arctic air for several days now. Of course, Saturday we were at 61. Since then, we've been into the teens and 20s and a few rounds of sleet and snow for portions of the four-state area, which you can see the ice on the parking lot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Thankfully, we're going to start to be able to melt some of that down as we go through about the next day or so. All right, snow stats, just a dusting at the airport in Joplin, but 6.75 is where we sit for the season. Average is 13 for the entire season. So we still have a pretty good gap to make up over the month of February. Temperatures right now, it's cold. It's 19 Nevada, 19 Neosho, 21 in Miami, Parsons 18, Chanute is sitting at 19 degrees, and we're going to continue to drop off. But look at this Arctic air mass across the entire Central Plains, all the way into the deep south. Of course, Texas, parts of Arkansas, they've been dealing with the ice over the past several days. Wind chill factors, the winds are coming near calm, so at least wind chills aren't going to be too much lower than the actual temperature for us tonight. 20 here shortly, 17 by 7 a.m. We do rebound to 25 with some sunshine as we go into the morning hours for us tomorrow. All right, we had a little bout of sleet and snow. Pushed right on through, came down a pretty good clip, especially in our southern counties. This is all gone, so we're dry now. Still the ice going on down through Arkansas, back through parts of Texas, all the way down into southwestern Texas. And this is going to be a problem for them over the next couple days. Even another little wave is going to kick out into the southern plains. I think that wave is going to stay far enough south that we don't have to deal with it, but something we definitely want to watch. All right, mid-teens to start the day. Cold start, a lot of clouds. Temps near 30, which is better. As we get toward the noon hour, by the time we get into the afternoon, mid-30s. We finally get above freezing. Monette 32, Lamar 35, Chanute 35, Veneta, Miami at about 34 degrees. Not too bad. A lot of clouds tomorrow night. That next system will try to creep into northwest Arkansas, but again, I think it will stay south of us. Upper 20s by Thursday morning. Once we get into Thursday afternoon, look at this, temperatures mid-40s, so we are going in the right direction. All right, wind chill factors tonight, still kind of in that 10 to 15 degree range. Here's your day planner, 17 to start, 30 by noon, high temp at 36. We'll have a lot of clouds, especially late in the day. And as we look at a much broader picture, you can see that next storm system just clipping just our southern counties. But of course, we'll keep our eyes on that tomorrow. It pushes out, then we start to see improvements. We get a lot of clouds with the system passing by on Saturday, but we start to warm things back up. And really no good chances for rain until Monday into Tuesday is when we'll see our next storm system. All right, 36 tomorrow, 45 Thursday, down to 42 Friday, but sunny. Near 50 Saturday, near 60 on Sunday, 61 on Monday. But we do get pretty active again next week with plenty of chances for rain and even some wintry weather as well. But next 4 or 5 days, pretty good stretch.
All right, we'll enjoy the next 4 or 5 days.
Yes,
Then
we will.
We'll deal with the future when we have to.
Yep.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, Chiefs head coach Andy Reid prepares to face his former team in the Super Bowl. We're going to hear from him. And the Carthage Tigers host a rivalry doubleheader against Webb City. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more up next.
The Carthage Tigers are at home tonight for a doubleheader against COC rival Webb City. On the girls' side, Carthage aims to hand Webb City its first conference loss of the season. Now, Webb City 12-6 overall, including 2-0 in the COC, winning 8 of their last 10 games. Early on, Sammy Mancini rebound and put back plus the foul. She scores 15 in the first half for Webb City. A few minutes later, Mia Robbins opened in the corner for 3. Cardinals jump out to a 22-6 lead after the first. A second quarter here, Kiana Yates in transition scores and 1. Tigers try to chip into that lead. Yates gets 17, but final seconds of the first half, Kate Brownfield pulls up and beats the buzzer with 3. It's Webb City by 19 at the break. To the fourth, Brownfield into Mancini. She turns and finishes. 26 points tonight for Sammy Mancini. Webb City, big win on the road, beating Carthage 59-42. After that one, the boys hit the floor. Carthage on a 3-game winning streak. Both teams 1-1 in the league. First quarter, teams trading shots. Justin Ray buries the 3 from the right side. Other end, power dribble for Alex Martin. Finishes with the reverse. It's Webb City by 6 after 1. Martin scores 12. Second quarter, Baron Duda goes baseline and knocks it in off the window. 16 for Duda tonight. Cards get the lead to 10, but Carthage keeps chipping away. Max Templeman on the break and the foul. He scores 26. Carthage within 2 at halftime. The game's still close in the fourth, but Holton Keith gets to the rim and lays it in. Team high 18 points tonight for Keith. Webb City wins a good one over Carthage 58-50. The Missouri Southern women are back in the national rankings. The Lions are tied at number 24 in the latest WBCA poll released this afternoon. Missouri Southern has won 7 games in a row and is currently 19-4 overall. Now this week is a big week for the Lions. They're on the road against Lincoln on Thursday before facing 7th-ranked Central Missouri in Warrensburg on Saturday. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are 12 days away from playing in Super Bowl 57. Chiefs face the Philadelphia Eagles on February 12th in Glendale, Arizona. Now, it's no surprise, really, that it comes down to these two teams. Both of them went 14-3 in the regular season. Both were the number 1 seeds in their conference. The Chiefs head coach Andy Reid actually spent 14 seasons coaching the Eagles before coming to Kansas City. Now, he's definitely going to be asked this a million times between now and then, but here's Reid on facing his former team.
I think when you really cut to the chase on it, they're a really good football team. And so I think that's where the energy goes. Because really when it's kickoff, you're playing that team. I mean, it's the players that you're going against and the coaches. And so the uniform, it's not that's not where your mind's at. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You try to blank out all the hype that goes with the game.
Pittsburgh State softball begins their season on Friday, playing in the D2 Spring Kickoff Tournament in Conroe, Texas. They're going to play 5 games from Friday to Sunday, facing some of the best teams in the country. Here's their head coach, Jenny Fuller, on getting to see tough competition right off the bat in Texas.
This is a very tough tournament, top 25, top 10 teams. So we just want to go out there and compete and try and play with the best of the best out there. It's all Lone Star Conference teams, so I think if we can just go out there and compete with them, then we can compete with everybody. So that was my thought process, was schedule tough non-con teams and better prepare our team for conference.
I've been doing this job for 8 years, and the first week of college baseball and softball sneaks up on me every time. The first week of February, playing games out there when it's cold, I haven't gotten used to it yet.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like anyone should be playing on a diamond just yet, but seasons change quickly around here. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local member of the armed forces. Eddie Blunk joined the U.S. Army in 2007. Pitcher, Oklahoma native, served in the 45th Infantry Oklahoma National Guard stationed in Kuwait in Iraq. And we are proud to salute Specialist Eddie Blunk, a four-state hero. The Field Museum in Chicago acquired a sword almost 100 years ago, and the people there thought, well, it's a replica. But scientists from the museum tested it recently. Turns out that sword is actually 3,000 years old. It was retrieved from the Danube River in the 1930s. Scientists tested it only recently when the museum was planning its exhibit, First Kings of Europe. The test showed the chemical makeup of the sword was similar to other swords from Europe that date back to the Bronze Age. They just don't make them the way they used to. Looking pretty good for 3,000 years old, if you ask me. Spending a lot of time in the river.
It's true.
You know, that's enough to wrinkle anybody.
I'm sure there probably wasn't a river there 3,000 years
well,
ago.
that's very, very possible, but it's been there for a good long time. The weather's pretty cold tonight.
It is. We're going to drop back mid-teens for overnight lows, but starting to warm back up. 36 tomorrow, 45 Thursday.
Final sports note.
Sunflower Showdown tonight. KU gets revenge on K-State men's basketball. 90-78, 20 points tonight for Jalen Wilson.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.